in the kitchen. Fresh. Fresh.
G'day and welcome to our Friday of Fresh, cooking with the Australian Women's Weekly. If you've got friends coming over for this weekend and you don't have time to slave away in the kitchen, then you will love today's show. We have some quick and easy ideas, and as always, they taste delicious. How's this for the weekend? For the picnic hamper, we're whipping up some good old-fashioned lamingtons. Lindy delights us with a flavoursome vegetarian dish, tomato and chilli pasta. And we're finishing the day with baked swordfish, spiced with coriander and plum tomato sauce. But first up, a little classical Australian fare, the humble lamington. And I'm not talking fancy fresh shaved coconut and tempered French chocolate. No, it's cheap and nasty. It's the only way to go. So to start off, we're going to start with a sponge. All right? Into a bowl, we're going to whip 8 whole eggs, 8 60-gram eggs with 240 grams of caster sugar. Meanwhile, you preset your oven to 175 degrees Celsius. Now, I've pre-started this because it does take a couple of minutes to whip them to they've tripled in size. Now have a look at that, that's tripled in volume. There's lots of air. This is where all the air comes from to give us our lovely light sponge. So after 2 or 3 minutes, like we've done, we slow down the wrist action and we incorporate 40 grams of desiccated coconut. Now that's roughly about 8 tablespoons. Work that in. Voila, that's it. Now it's time to work quick but carefully as well. Now we're going to try and keep all that air in our eggs. Now working in 240 grams of plain flour. Now the air stays here if we give it the time and the attention that it needs. However, it can't be slow. We have to work it in and just folding the flour through, breaking it up as we go. Now at the same time, just before this, I've actually lined myself a tin already, a lamington tin, just with some greaseproof paper. Even though it's non-stick, I've still lined it. You just can't afford for it to stick. All right, folding it through, it's still super light. Into that, 120 mils of melted butter. Now I've just done this in the microwave. There's nothing stopping you from doing it over a pan of water. So, you got that? 120 grams of butter. All right, turn this one down here. I've also got some other butter melting away for the chocolate coating. Now, just carefully, make sure it's well folded through. We don't need lumps of flour through there. It has to be well incorporated. At the same time, try not to knock out all that air. Into our pre-lined tin. Straight in. Beautiful, just make sure it's even, it's spread. Perfect. I mean, this sponge is fantastic for practically anything. If you just wanted a sponge cake, you're making a genoise, and you wanted to ice it with whatever you like, that's the one to do. Into the oven, 175 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. Bring it out and allow it to cool, like we have here. So it makes it much easier to slice and cut. Whilst that's happening anyway, or whilst that's cooling, I'm working over here 100 grams of melted butter. Into that, we'll add 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, along with 50 grams of icing sugar. Now I've got this over warm water to keep it thin and stop it solidifying, because if you're doing quite a few lamingtons like we are, you don't need it to go thick and gooey, because otherwise you're not going to get an even coating on the outside of your lamingtons. So just mixing it through. Now the lamington itself. All right, take it off that paper. Just being careful. And then just slicing it into your squares. Take off that crust, that's some for the kids. And you can do them as big or as small as you like. Now look, I only need to show you the one. Take off the edges, and we'll say 8 centimetres, or 5 to 8 centimetres in size. Beautiful. All right, just take the tops off, just to even it up. Now these little offcuts, these endy bits, would be fantastic in a bread and butter pudding, or even dried out and go over the top of a delicious rhubarb crumble. All right, onto our lamingtons. A little bit of raspberry jam. No lamington should be made without raspberry jam on them. It's delicious. A little bit of sweetness, because everything else is so cheap and nasty. I mean, using not old cocoa, but using cocoa, no special ingredient. Coconut desiccated, nothing special about that either. However, it's about the jam and the cream in the middle. Now I've whipped up 200 mils of cream. To that, I know we said we weren't doing anything special, but I've decided to add 40 mils of coconut extract, or coconut liqueur actually, so you could use a Malibu or a coconut rum. If it's for the kids, don't add it. All right, whip that in. So it's just a small amount. Mixing it. Push it on top. Not too much, we don't really need it going everywhere. Beautiful, so that's our sponge. Then, into our chocolate mix. Now it might be nice to actually have a fork there, but hey, and just mix the coconut straight over the top quite generously. Now, doesn't that look fantastic? Sweet, moist sponge cake topped with a lovely chocolate and coconut crusting. The humble lamington in the comfort of your own home. Now make sure you join us after the break. Lindy's cooking up a vegetarian wonder, tomato and chili pasta.
Monica, can I talk to you for a second?
It's a friend's fancy dress party.
You did this, too? It was either a pink bunny or no bunny at all.
No bunny at all. Always no bunny at all.
An all-new episode
Dude, what happened?
with a very special guest.
Aren't you gonna give me a kiss?
Okay, I will. But right after you have to tell me who the hell you are.
Sean Penn, that's who.
You're getting a crush on your sister's fiancé. No, I'm not. You are.
Hey, beautiful.
Hello, handsome.
An all-new Friends premieres 7:30 Monday on 9.
In the Australian Women's Weekly,
Meet the man of Sophie Lee's dreams. See Charles and Camilla playing King and Queen at Buckingham Palace. And why Russell Crowe is head over heels for Danielle Spencer. We're Australian women, we're Australian Women's Weekly.
Magnificent day, cool breeze, bright sunshine, and we'll be bringing you a description of all the action here, of which there will be live, and they are rich in history. It should be a great game, buoyant atmosphere and perfect conditions. Well, we've certainly been blessed with a magnificent day. None better.
In London, it won the Laurence Olivier Award for Best Musical, Jolson. Now, the full London production comes to Melbourne with an all-star cast of 30 and featuring the extraordinary Rob Guest. Jolson comes to the State Theatre from July 20. Book now at Ticketmaster 7. Jolson, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Why do you suppose they have a happy hour?
Oh, well, there's hardly anyone here at that time, so it doesn't cost them much.
Yeah, but later when you really want a drink, it's full price.
Exactly. Like your mobile.
Hey?
Well, you might pay a low rate at night, but it's full whack during the day when you use it most.
And you only pay one rate all the time.
Orange just goes, just 18 cents for 30 seconds.
Geez, that's low.
Yep. It's like happy hour 24 hours a day.
Call Orange on 133 188 or visit your Orange dealer.
The Cenovis Nutriplan weight loss program has been clinically proven around the world. Lose weight fast and keep it off with Cenovis Nutriplan.
This year, there will be no Christmas.
Christmas will be cancelled!
He's stealing Christmas!
You want to cancel Christmas? You're bluffing.
Malcolm in the Middle, 8 o'clock Monday on 9.
Welcome back to the Australian Women's Weekly Test Kitchen. I love cooking in here, right amongst all of the action. And I'm going to cook from one of my favourite sections in the magazine, which is Fridge to Feast in 15 minutes. We're doing a tomato and chilli pasta. So just remember, it's really important you need plenty of boiling salted water to cook your pasta in so it doesn't stick together. And in fact, if you add some salt just before you add the pasta, you'll see it raises the temperature even more and it bubbles up. That's fantastic. Now we're using penne today, a dried pasta, and this is going to take about 14 minutes to cook. But just cook according to the packet's instructions. The other thing I like to do is give it a good stir until it comes back to the boil, because then it's not going to stick together. A lot of people put oil in the water to make it stop sticking, but I find, yeah, it stops it sticking, but it stops the sauce adhering to it as well. So that's what I like to do. Let it come back to the boil and let it boil really briskly for as long as the packet says, 14 minutes in this case. Terrific, that's on the boil, so I'm just going to move it over here and we can get on with the sauce. Okay, now the sauce is an olive oil based sauce, extra virgin olive oil, which I'm just going to warm in here because we really do want to infuse it with some flavours for the pasta. So, garlic first of all, 3 cloves of fresh garlic, and especially with a sauce like this, you really do need that fresh garlic because you really want that flavour. Now, I quite like it being quite rustic, so we can just smash it, get rid of the day's frustrations, and it's ready for us to peel and chop even more finely. Okay, there we go. Oh, the smell of this is fantastic. Just be gentle with that oil. Don't have it over too high a heat or it'll deep fry the ingredients, and really it's an infusion process that we're actually looking for. So in they go, in that goes. Okay. Now, just make sure your pasta stays boiling. I turned that down too much, so I've just turned it up again. You can always just give it a stir every now and then to make sure it doesn't stick. And now I can smell the olive oil. It's absolutely fantastic. But now that's sizzling, so I'm going to knock this heat back just a little because I don't want it to fry too much. Okay. Now next, we've got some chilies. Now these long red chilies aren't actually as hot as the small chilies, but even so, let's just slit them down the middle, because if you want, remember, if you want the chili flavour without too much chili heat, just scrape out the membrane and the seeds. It's actually the membrane that makes those seeds quite so hot. So, once again, we can just chop these. They actually have a heat rating, but these actually aren't too hot really at all. So, let's just let this infuse for a minute or two. So that is absolutely beautifully fragrant now. So I'll just get the tomatoes. You need about 800 grams of tomatoes, or about 4 medium size. And we're just going to chop them roughly. Look, there's absolutely no need with this recipe to peel them or seed them, because remember, it's fridge to feast in 15 minutes, which means I guarantee to you that you can cook this whole thing in 15 minutes. It means you've got to get that pasta cooked pretty quickly, but the sauce is actually much quicker to cook than it is the pasta. So just roughly chopped with the skin on. And try and get really nice red ripe tomatoes. Now they can go straight in the pan. Okay, that's the last tomato in. And we don't want to cook it too much because you really want that lovely fresh tomato flavour. So give it a stir through. Remember, the heat's really gentle. And now, I'll just make a bit of a space because we want to chop the parsley. Okay, we've got some flat leaf parsley, sometimes called Italian parsley, and we're just going to chop that. Now, I don't need this too finely sliced either, too finely chopped. In fact, I think that's pretty good as it is. So in it goes. And once again, that gentle heat will just release the aroma and the flavour. Now just some salt and pepper in there. Some salt and freshly ground black pepper, and then that's ready to toss through our pasta as soon as the pasta's cooked. And now it is ready, so I just got to drain it off. Okay, now a great way of keeping everything hot is to actually put your drained pasta back in the pot, and then you can toss it with the other ingredients. So in here, the olive oil, the tomato, the parsley, the garlic, the chilli in here, and it's just a really easy way to stir it all through, and then it's a really, really easy to serve. So here's my serving plate, and do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tip it in, because if you've stirred it properly you can. Yummo! That looks absolutely fantastic. We'll just, there we go. Clean up your plate a bit, and then we'll just finish off with some shaves of Parmesan. And there it is. Remember, you'll only find that recipe in this month's issue of the Australian Women's Weekly. I'm going to try it right now.
5:30 Saturday, Cottee teams up with the gardening experts.
Katie, how are you, mate?
And creates a little backyard magic. Sally Ann takes a bumpy ride through the high country. And Lavinia gets physical. Postcards, 5:30 Saturday on 9.
In the Australian Women's Weekly,
meet the man of Sophie Lee's dreams. See Charles and Camilla playing king and queen at Buckingham Palace, and why Russell Crowe is head over heels for Danielle Spencer. We're Australian women, we're Australian Women's Weekly.
Everybody deserves Patties, the most entertaining food in your freezer.
The moisturising Dove shampoo has nourished my hair. It's rebuilt my hair, especially after having a child. The secret to Dove is the moisturising. My hair was bouncy, manageable, it's smooth, silky, it just does what I want it to do.
New Dove shampoo and conditioner with 1/4 moisturising cream replenishes your hair from within.
Beautiful hair to me is healthy hair. And the moisturising Dove shampoo allows you to have that.
Feel the difference with Dove.
If your little dog's gone, here's a new way to help you find it. www.lostdogs.com.au www.lostdogs.com.au. Log on it, doggone it.
Win a Cadbury movie party for you and 100 friends to see Star Wars Attack of the Clones plus special Cadbury prize packs. Watch The Phantom Menace this Sunday night on Channel 9 with a block of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate and answer the question on screen. Wouldn't it be nice to win with Cadbury?
Harvey Norman breaks the price barrier with this huge 107cm plasma widescreen. Don't pay $12,999 for $11,999 or $10,999. Exclusive to Harvey Norman, you can now buy an LG 107cm plasma screen for just $9,999. That's right, $9,999. And we'll throw in a 6-head hi-fi VCR at no extra cost. The LG plasma screen can be wall or stand mounted and is digital TV ready. At $9,999 with bonus VCR, the future is yours.
The fresh chopped flavour of Gourmet Garden herbs and spices makes simple meals sensational. Just squeeze garlic and rosemary to marinate lamb chops. Just squeeze coriander and lemongrass for authentic stir-fry. Just squeeze hot chilli and spring onion to make mashed potatoes magic. Use any of the 12 Gourmet Garden herbs and spices straight from your fridge or freezer. Gourmet Garden herbs and spices. Just squeeze in the fresh produce section of your supermarket.
Tonight,
whoa, a dragon.
Dawn visits a gorgeous garden with a twist. Test rides Palominos.
Isn't that nice?
And drops in to meet Tara Moss.
You're going to check out my backyard.
Burke's Backyard, 7:30 tonight on 9.
Coming up next week on Fresh, we have something just for you. Quick, easy and nutritious meals for those on the go with naturopath Mim Beam. Wine expert Colin Corney gives us some great advice on how to read those wine labels. And the Today Show's Sharon Gadella whips up breakfast, pancakes with fried banana, mango and yogurt. And don't miss Stephanie Alexander discussing her fabulous new book, Cooking and Travelling in Southwest France. Now, if you understand seasonal produce, you've got a bit of time to go out and do some shopping, there is absolutely no reason why you can't come up with some delicious, healthy, pocket-friendly dishes, like our next dish, for example. Baked loin of swordfish, spiced with plum tomatoes, coriander, mint, cinnamon, and a little bit of oregano. It's quite simple, and if you know how to shop, as I said, it can be cheap as well. Now, swordfish, for example, about $10 to $15 cheaper than a kilo of tuna. All right, so it's about shopping smart. Let's start off with the sauce that we're going to braise it in first. Into a pan, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Into that, 2 cloves of sliced garlic, along with 2 dried chilies, just finely chopped, which is roughly about a teaspoon of dried chili, along with a stick of cinnamon. Now just shaking the pan around, don't allow your garlic to burn. Into that you can also throw in half a teaspoon of dried oregano. Now we're just allowing the chili, the garlic to give off its fragrance. The garlic will go a little bit brown as well. Into that 750 grams of plum tomatoes. You know the Roma tomatoes? Just allowing it to cool down. We want it to cook slowly and break down and still remain, or keep its texture at least. Up that temperature just a little. Into that, a cup of water. Now into that, some fresh chili. Now I'm using a medium-sized chili, which is not quite as strong as the average bird's eye chili. Leave the seeds in. Just finely sliced and straight in. Now into that we can throw in some fresh mint leaves. Now the fresh mint will actually just give off a lot of flavour, which is roughly about 1/4 cup of leaves here. Let's throw that in, give it a good mix, and we can simmer it away for about 10 to 15 minutes. Fundamentally, you've got yourself a delicious, spicy, fragrant sauce to braise our swordfish in. Oh, it smells amazing. The fresh mint's really good there. All right, next, the swordfish. Yeah, no, look, if you look around, you can find yourself some great buys. Swordfish, as I said, $10 to $15 a kilo cheaper at the moment. Now, just preparing it, I'm going to take off that bloodline. Take it out just by trimming it. That extra piece of fish there. Trim that up. I mean, you can trim that up, cut it up and give it to your cat. It could be quite nice for dinner tonight. And then just scoring the fish about 2 centimetres deep and about 3 incisions. What we'll do is we'll add some more fresh garlic, so roughly another couple of cloves. We're going to insert the garlic along with some crushed coriander seeds. Now just crushed, it doesn't have to be powder form. Just breaking them up so they're still coarse but just able to release flavour. Just like that. Now insert the garlic. Now at the same time I have preheated an oven to 220 degrees Celsius. This only takes 20 minutes to cook. Sorry, 10 to 15 minutes to cook. If you cook it any longer, it has a tendency to turn to mush. Anyhow, I've got a pan hot there. I'm going to rub some coriander seed into the fish, along with some cracked black pepper, some salt, and you've got plenty of mint. There's nothing wrong with just pushing some mint into those incisions as well. Into a pan. Now I've got a big Le Creuset earthenware pot here. We just need to quickly seal the fish on all sides so it holds in its moisture. Now keep an eye on this sauce. It just breaks down. It'll still get another 10 to 15 minutes in the oven as well. So turn the fish. Make sure you do brown on all sides to give it plenty of colour. And then pour your sauce over the top. Perfect. Along with a cup of white wine, lid on, then into the oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes. Now come back after the break and we'll serve it up. See you then.
Coming up in the morning news, Prime Minister Howard under fire from state premiers who claim his stem cell research proposal is too restrictive. President Bush takes a tougher stand in the Middle East conflict. The federal government to go ahead with the construction of a new nuclear reactor at Lucas Heights. Wayne Carey arrives in the US but denies he's there to discuss a new career. And another 3 gold medals at the World Short Course Swimming Championships in Moscow. I'll have all of those details coming up in the news today at 11 o'clock.
More Australians get their news from Channel 9 than from any other source.
Colgate Total, the only toothpaste that gives you 12-hour protection, would like to announce another breakthrough. Whiter teeth. New Colgate Total Plus Whitening. 12-hour protection plus whiter teeth.
Rush in to Carpet Call's giant catalogue sale. Carpet your whole house in luxurious plush for just $1,995. Save 50% off ticketed rug prices in our huge rug clearance. Only at Carpet Call's giant catalogue sale.
The experts in the trade.
If you're looking for an impressive and easy dessert solution, then here's a product you'll love. New Cottee's fruit sauces. There's 3 delicious flavours, raspberry, passion fruit and mixed berry. And they're made with real fruit. Cottee's fruit sauces are a simple and versatile way to add something special to your desserts. Pour over pavlova, smother a creamy cheesecake or even drizzle over pancakes. You'll see the real fruit pieces every time you pour. The great range of Cottee's fruit sauces at your supermarket now. Brand power, helping you buy better.
Okay, the hair needed a little change. Nothing crazy. So I picked up new Garnier Lumia Brightening Color Cream. It's different because it permanently brightens your natural hair color without dramatically changing it. And it was like this for my hair. Not a huge change, just... Lumia won't dry out your hair, and it smells great. Now I feel boop-boop-be-doop, lasting luminous color. It's you, only brighter. New Garnier Lumia. Garnier. Trust them. They're experts.
Vitamin A and riboflavin for healthy skin and eyes, potassium and magnesium for nerve and muscle function, calcium and phosphorus for strong bones and teeth, carbohydrate and B vitamins for energy, zinc and protein to assist the immune system. Which is why you never stop needing the unique combination of 10 essential nutrients found naturally in dairy. Dairy, the food of life.
If you'd like a copy of Jason's recipes from this week's shows, call 1902 210 226. Or you can find us on the Australian Women's Weekly website at 9msn.com.au/AWW. Also, don't forget you'll only find Lindy's recipes in this month's issue of the Australian Women's Weekly, with more great recipe ideas.
Welcome back. It's time to serve up our baked loin of swordfish. So, after 10 to 15 minutes in the oven, that's what it looks like. We scoop it out very carefully, trying not to let it break up. And if it does, then, you know, we just serve big chunks rather than slices. Now, I've already pre-cooked some potatoes to serve with it. That's the sauce. You don't throw that out yet. Now, just as a little reminder, you may have noticed, we've thrown the fish on the board. However, it is clean, and it's important for hygienic reasons. You have a clean board, you use clean tea towels and all that. Anyhow, to serve it up, big slice of it. How about we grab a spoon? So we've got potatoes, we've got our lovely baked loin of swordfish. Just topped with a sauce that's already finished with lots of mint, the tomatoes, the fresh and dried chilli. And there you have it, a delicious meal for you and your family. Anyway, that's it for another week. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Fresh! Fresh!
Frasier is back.
At last, finally.
Frasier is back. Frasier is back.
Oh my God.
And so is Niles. And so is Ted and Daphne Monday night on Channel 9.
Tonight after Shafted, Burke's Backyard. Then at 8:30, direct from the MCG, the Bombers take on the Tigers in Friday Night Football.